Caution, the Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience. And, besides that, he's really weird. Welcome to the Mark Gungor Show with international marriage speaker and author of Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, Mark Gungor. This is your source for practical, down-to-earth marriage advice without all the over-spiritualization or romantic nonsense. And now the host of the Mark Gungor Show, Mark Gungor.
And the crowd goes wild with delirious joy. They've joined the Mark Gungor Show, the show that deals with all things concerning
marriage.
Indeed, marriage. I'm convinced the marriage sound effect is not
very
operating
quiet
properly.
in my ears, too.
I think we have issues with
we
marriage.
Know you do.
Marriage. I am, of course, your host, the one, the only, Mark Gungor. Joining me, as always, the ever-lovely Lady Diane, Queen
That's me.
of the Galactic Universe. Also joining us, the amazing Philip James Gungor. Engineering the show, as always, the very talented but eerily creepy Timothy Robert Ray.
Timothy Wabba Way. Timothy Wabba Way.
Pushing buttons, twisting knobs, and trying to stay awake during this incomprehensibly, immeasurably boring show. This is the show that handles your marital challenges, relational conundrums, and dating dilemmas that you get to email to us at ask@markgungor.com, and we will do our pathetic best to respond to.
Hey, speak for yourself.
We have a special guest today, lovely Elizabeth Dubois. Should be Dubois because it's much classier.
She can pronounce her name however she wants.
No, it's on my show. She's Dubois, Miss Dubois.
It's her stage name.
It's her stage name. Dubois. Elizabeth handles all of our booking requests, so she basically runs my life.
She tells them where to go.
Where to go. I don't even know where I'm going. You have no idea how many times I go to the airport.
Yep.
Those ladies all know me. Say, "Oh, where are you going today?" And I go,
I don't know.
I have no idea. Where am I going? I have no idea.
Oh, look, what does my ticket say?
So lovely Elizabeth is joining us because she actually wants to.
She wants to be here, unlike the rest of us.
The rest of us, none of us want to be here, but she
to.
wants to be here. So, you always have these people that work for you. Most of them, they just need a job. And they tolerate you. And some actually like you.
Keep going.
And then there's some who actually love you. They're absolute fans, rabid fans. Miss Dubois.
Nice to have somebody like that in the room once in a while, isn't it?
Diane's like that too, but she won't admit it. Nope. She loves me. She's in love with me. She can't control it. She
I do a really good job of faking it, don't I?
So anyway, it's nice to have her here and join because she actually enjoys this and loves. Mm-hmm. She actually listens to the show and she doesn't have to. It's not her job, Diane.
I know.
So anyway,
I know.
I thought of something this morning.
What?
Of the amazing transformation that happens in the transformation from teenage girl to woman. All right.
I thought you could say like old lady.
As
you look and point at me.
Teenage girl to a geezer. No, that's a long jump. I'm just talking about to like a mother because motherhood transforms women. Uh-huh. Okay. By that I mean is if any of you who have teenage daughters know that everything to a teenage girl is gross.
Yeah.
Everything's gross.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh, you're gross.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're gross.
Yeah.
And the carrots and the peas are touching on their plate. Oh, it's so gross. Oh, that's gross. Oh, there's a booger. Oh, that's gross. And then they become mothers. And then they're baptized into grossness.
Oh.
And they do stuff that would make a sailor vomit, right?
Yep.
Because they're dealing with poop up to their eyeballs, and where they see a snotty kid, I'm looking around for a Kleenex. A mom would just reach over with her hand and wipe it off and slap it on her leg, and I go, ew,
and because spit up
spit up and vomit,
crusty everything.
Really, and the guys are like ready to hurl, and they can handle anything. Yeah. Nothing is gross to them at this point. Yeah. Once you become a mother, grossness is. You talk about a transformation.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Where's this going?
Miss Dubois comes into the house this morning. Uh-huh. And then I got this little orange weird cat that we're all waiting to die. I keep encouraging him, move towards the light. move towards the light. It's time to cross over. Okay? So anyway, like cats, they just randomly hurl. Just bleh, and hairballs just bleh. So she walks in, and before I know it, I'm turning around, she's got paper towels in her hand.
Cleaning
and
up
she's
the
on the
furball
floor, and she wiped it. I said, what are you doing? Oh, your cat just puked all over the place. And I'm thinking, well, ew, that's kind of gross. I mean, you got to really be comfortable with gross. Because it's one thing to have to clean up your own puke and stuff, and your own animal's puke. You are really hardcore when you walk to somebody else's house, see their animal puke, and you just go right and clean it up right away. I mean, she right into mom mode. Just clean everything up,
And you can tell she likes you a lot better than I do because I'd have said, hey, Mark, your cat puked on the floor.
Hey, you want to clean up your stupid cat puke? Anyway, so there you have it.
There you go.
Do you like the shirt with this jacket?
Uh-huh.
My wife didn't like it this morning.
Actually.
She said it was on the bubble. You think it's
On the bubble?
On the bubble?
There's a lot of
There's a lot going on, but
there.
Yeah,
I know,
it works.
I know.
You know what? You know why I know it works? Because all those NFL guys on the sports casters do the same thing.
Right, they
with
all
the
do
plaids
that.
and the plaids.
Do you know why? Because men are dressing themselves, and they don't know how to dress.
I don't think so. I think they have wardrobers. But I've noticed that that's the trend.
That's the trend, this kind of thing, right? So she's
Howie
just on the
Long,
bubble,
yep.
and I think, no, I'm like...
Yep.
In fact, I think most women right now could walk by and say, that man must play for the NFL.
No, I'm not talking about playing. I'm talking about the commentators.
One look at my bod in this, and
people get you confused with The Rock a lot of it.
yeah, a lot. Rock.
Aren't
I'm not
you Dwayne?
Okay,
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Johnson.
I'm Mark. A lot of confusion along those lines.
Yeah.
All right. I normally open with a
But you just diddled
article,
away
but I
the time.
just burned away all our time. So
We'll save it for next
we'll
time.
save this. 4 phrases that make you a hero to your wife. I don't know. Maybe we have time. Can we squeeze
Well,
it in?
I have a shorter one. If we want to do
wait.
the really short one, save that one for next time.
Okay, what's the short one?
Okay, here's the really short one. 3 ways to instantly spice up your marriage.
Okay,
Much
one,
shorter.
pour spice on
Number
it.
1, argue naked. Disagreements in your marriage you're going to have them, but there's no reason not to have fun with them. Have you ever noticed how difficult it is to be naked and angry at the same time? Seriously, make a policy that you both are going to get naked every time you have a disagreement. You'll both end up smiling. You might even forget why you were arguing in the first place.
The problem with that is at our age, we argue anywhere. So it could be like we could be in Walmart.
Yeah.
And we'll start arguing.
Not a good place
and
to
all
get
of a sudden I
naked.
start ripping off my clothes.
Not good.
And then they call the police and stuff.
Yeah,
And it's very
and
awkward.
there's a problem.
Yes.
Number 2, lunchtime love. We all tend to have more energy in the middle of the day than
Yeah,
we do
baby!
at night.
Now
After
we're
all
talking.
the work is done and the kids are finally asleep, why not schedule a lunch date at home and do more than just have lunch?
Let's get it on.
Mark pays all of his employees to go home and have
That's
lunch.
right. Yeah. Y'all leave. See you later. It's
Hour and a
lunchtime.
half paid lunch leave.
That's right. Praise the Lord.
And the third one, make foreplay an all-day event.
Yes!
Don't look at foreplay as something you have to do a few minutes before the act itself. Bring the fun, flirtation, and spontaneity back to the marriage by sending flirtatious text messages throughout the day, giving each other foot rubs, seductively whispering, gently caressing, and doing anything else that your spouse enjoys. Remember that sometimes
All right,
foreplay
show's done. See
can
you
be
later.
practical as doing some of your spouse's chores or tasks around the house. Do the things that you know he or she will appreciate, even if it doesn't lead to sex. Thoughtfulness is a powerful form of foreplay, and it's good for every other part of your marriage, too.
I agree. That's great. I like number 2 and 3. I think that's stupid. Do you know anybody who actually argues naked?
I have never heard of anybody doing it.
I mean, I've always heard it as a joke.
Yes.
But I've never, I don't know. But these other 2,
Yes.
lunchtime love, great, and foreplay all day
Yes.
long, great. Because a lot of guys are really bad at this. I mean, their version of foreplay is, brace yourself, woman.
Right?
Here you go, Margaret. Let's go. You know, it's not exactly
That
height
doesn't
of-
really work.
They're talking about 5 play here.
5 play
Foreplay.
all day long. It's a lot of it. Anyway, all right. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with your emails and this lovely combination of jacket and shirt right after this.
Have a marriage dilemma? Email your questions to ask@markgungor.com, and Mark can answer them during one of our shows.
Hi, Mark Gungor here to talk to you about our T1 program that we have out of our church, Celebration Church here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. T1, short for Transition 1. It's a gap year program designed for young people who are graduating from high school and then going on into college. One of the things that people are promoting more and more today is doing a transition year. Don't just run off right out of high school into college. Even secular people are doing this. I think one of Barack Obama's daughters did a gap year.
Yes.
So, and there's different gap year programs that you could do. The idea behind it is just slow down, especially from a Christian worldview. What we're trying to do is encourage our young people, slow down a little bit, kind of just tweak your life, make sure things are right, put God first in your life. It's the easiest time. I mean, a lot of you parents now think, oh man, I wish I could just go do something for missions. I wish I could really learn. But you can't. You can't. Why? You got life. You got babies. You got critters. You got all kinds of stuff in your life that you got to deal with, responsibilities. This is the primo time of life to encourage your teenage kid, before he goes off into college, to put God first in his life. So we have this program. It's called Transition 1, T1 for short. Based right out of our church here in Green Bay, where we meet with these kids for, it's basically a classroom setting for 6 months, right? Is it 6 months?
6 months in the classroom. Mm-hmm.
Where we teach them about life. We teach them about the Bible and stuff like that. It's not really a Bible, school or anything. It's not. We're not trying to prepare them to be a pastor or anything, but how to do life and how to make decisions, how to lead, how to handle finances. I meet with them about, how to decide about relationships and picking a spouse for life. Lady Diane actually meets with them as well,
I do.
Right? What do you teach?
I teach how to work ethic, how to be successful in the workplace.
Okay. So you talk about me a lot. This is
How to survive a boss when it really sucks in life. That's what I teach.
how Mark Gungor is a perfect example of the work ethic. So we meet with them. We've got various guys that come in and meet with them, and we just show them how to do life. So, and then at the last 3 months, they go overseas. We got a bunch right now in Africa. Some go in South America. People that we know, it's very safe. It's not dangerous. We know these people. It's a great... Check it out. Go to transition1.org. Check it out right away. Send your kids next year.
Take this opportunity to invite you. We're gonna party, you can lose your blues. You're invited, don't hesitate. It's on Main Street by the pearly gate. There's a party going on.
There's a party going on right here at the Mark Gungor Show. Talking about life, love, and marriage. Mark Gungor, Diane Brierly, Phil Gungor, and the very lovely Ms. Dubois joining us today. What have you got there?
Okay, wife writing. She says, my husband ignores or keeps away from me 2-ish weeks out of the month before my period. He says the only time I'm normal
Before?
is the week that I have finished my period.
Wait, what?
So the 2 weeks leading up to it, and then apparently the week of it.
So he'll
So there's
attention.
1 week out of the month that she's approachable, apparently.
Really?
Well,
Okay.
with that said, he has rules for sex. No sex during ovulation week and no sex during the crazy weeks.
So
I'm basically having sex 1 to 2 times per month, she says.
Wow.
I have demanded he be more attentive and not push me away. I think demanding that someone's attentive to you might not work.
You must have sex with me. Yes.
He says I'm hormonal and won't talk to me. I've made it a point to argue these points during my normal week, and I just get eye rolls. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of feeling rejected, dejected, and disrespected, she says. This week, I kicked him out of our room and put him in the guest room for the second time. She says he's there most of the time anyway.
Slacker.
You talk about men's egos being crushed, well, so is mine. I got so tired of stroking his ego with no reciprocation. I don't really need crazy amounts of sex. I do need touch and acknowledgement. Is this too much to ask? She says her details. We are both Puerto Rican.
Uh-oh.
We are not religious. We are both only children. And they've been together for 24 years, married 10 of those 24 years. And she says, I'm not fat, so it can't be that.
Boricua! I'm sure you're gorgeous, my dear. Look, in all honesty, we're going to have some fun with this. But let me just be serious for 2 things. One is you might need to go get counseling, okay? Because this can be very serious.
Yes.
Okay, where this can really wreck a marriage. We can really talk to someone because we can only go off of what you say. We don't know what's going on. So I would highly suggest that you drag his little butt and go talk to a counselor and say, here's a problem, see what's going on. The other possibility is that, in fact, you may be hormonal? I don't know.
Well, she did say that in the past she has had some hormonal issues with infertility and different things. So that kind of has been confirmed by a doctor.
Well, the doctor should be able to help you, and if he doesn't, and now here's the catch with hormones is most medical doctors really are not trained in how to deal with them. They're not, because it's not considered medically necessary. Even most insurance programs won't pay for hormonal treatments because they don't consider it medically necessary. In other words, you're not going to get sick and die if your hormones are all jacked up. You will, however, be profoundly miserable, and they don't care about that because their whole point is to save you from premature death or whatever. So you're kind of on your own on that. If you're going to go check out for a medical doctor, you want to Google online and find someone that deals with hormone therapy. There are specialists who do that. Or many chiropractors deal with hormone, and successfully. Here's the thing about it. You can really balance it out. So anyway, this is very new in our world. All the years I've been doing this, last 15 years, whenever we talk about sex, it's always about emotional connection and communication and all this other relational stuff. Where we have really failed, and I say we, I mean me, is really failed to look at the physical side of it. There is just a physical side to sex. Sex is a very physical thing. And if your hormones are jacked up, you're going to have a hard time functioning. And it's not just the female. Men also have hormone challenges. If their testosterone levels start dropping dramatically, they start having very little interest in sex. They start getting really grumpy. I was talking to a doctor recently. He said, man, he says, I can look at guys in their 60s. If they're warm, happy, warm grandpa kind of guys, he says, I guarantee you they got good hormones, good testosterone levels. He says, if they're the grumpy old bear guys, I guarantee you, he says, when we test them, their testosterone is way down to nothing. It affects the way that you act. So the good news is it can be fixed. Now, because we're making a real effort about this, our organization now on our website, markgungor.com, is now making available hormone kits where you can actually purchase them from us online, and you can take the test at home, and they will send the results to you. So in this case, you don't even have to go to a doctor's office, and they will measure exactly where your hormones are at, and if they're in a bad place, then you can either take it to your medical doctor, but again, I would look for someone who deals specifically in hormone therapy, or your chiropractor, or you can contact the doctors that we've worked out with. They'll give you a phone number, and you can just call them and do a consult over the phone. There again, see, guys don't like going to the doctor's office and stuff like that. And just talk it through. It's not like this is a mystery and it can't be we're not talking brain cancer here. We're not talking breast cancer. We're not talking some, serious thing like diabetes or something wrong with your prostate. We're talking it's fixable. But you don't know if you don't know. And most people sit around guessing. And our phrase is don't guess, test. So go to markgungor.com. This is something we'll be promoting more and more and starting to talk about in our seminars. The thing with the tests is they're not cheap, okay? On average, a minimum, a test like this costs $500, and it'll run as high as $900 plus, where it is what it is. Everybody wants to make money and stuff like that. We have negotiated with a company to do this. We got it down to $400. So it's still not a small deal, but $400 to check and see, hey, because you'll be miserable. I mean, it's certainly worth $400 to see what is wrong with me. Why am I so jacked up? Why are we having such a difficult time? Some women are never interested in sex. Some guys are never interested in sex. Low testosterone with men today is a major problem for a variety of reasons. Why don't you just get tested and see where you're at, and then you can deal with it. Again, you can just, when we get the results, our company will send you a number. You can call and do a phone consult. If you want to do it somewhere locally with someone that you're more familiar with, that's fine. But get tested. Here's a way for you to actually save money getting tested in the first place, and then in the comfort of your own home, just look. You basically pee on stuff. Not on random stuff in the house, but
It's part of the test.
you start peeing everywhere.
I think technically you do.
Just pee on your couch and see how that works.
What's that?
Just pee on stuff and see if you
Yeah.
feel better yet.
Yeah, no.
So
You do a urinalysis.
It's a urinalysis, yes.
Thank you.
I guess
don't pee on
that's the
stuff.
professional way.
You pee on stuff.
You
I
should-
don't care what you call it. You're peeing on
You're
stuff.
peeing on something, all right? So, and that's it. And you send it in and you get the results. Say, well, what if I order from you guys and my dog eats it or, or I made a mistake or stuff like that. Am I out $400? No, you just contact us. We'll send you another one. So you just pay for the shipping on that, which wasn't very much at all. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? You want to get this and all of a sudden, oh, we did something wrong and I'm out all that money. No, you're not. We will protect you from that. So it's once you get it right, then you send it in, and I'm not sure how long it takes them to take all that long, but you'll get back the result, and then and you can see. And because if a woman's hormones, and they're much more complicated, get all jacked up, you'll be a miserable soul. You just will. In fact, I'm getting to the point. I've been talking to some pastors about this. I'm getting to the point where people that come in counseling, and you can't really put a finger on it.
Get them tested.
Here, go pee on this.
Yeah.
I don't actually say it that way, but do
Really?
your analysis because
Yeah.
you're gonna be
They get a cup.
Yeah.
you're gonna be chasing your tail,
Yeah.
trying to make everybody because we always think, well, it's an emotional problem, it's a relational problem. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's just a physical problem, and we need to get that taken care of. So I'm actually starting to encourage people in their counseling. Man, just get them tested almost right off the bat. Yeah, I'll meet with you. First thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do a $400 test, which is cheaper than, anywhere else you can go for it. But you need to take this test, and we need to make sure that your hormones are right, because it really messes with you emotionally and physically, and it will jack up your sex life. So anyway, go check all of that at markgungor.com. Get tested, my dear. You and your husband, you can see exactly what's going on. And then you need to go get some help. And I agree with you. I wouldn't put up with it. I like it. You're a tough Puerto Rican chick, and you kicked him out of the bedroom, and you need to lay down the line. Hey, you need to treat me like your wife. I'm all for that. I love tough chicks. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
Mark Gungor. Yeah, we've got an app for that. Download your free Mark Gungor app today.
Sounds so simple, and it's just a game. All the pretty players are wanting just the same.
The music of Jimmy Bratcher. Check it out at jimmybratcher.com. What do you got there?
Okay, a parenting question. She says, I'm a 31-year-old mother. I have a 15-year-old daughter. My firstborn is not my current husband's daughter. Her biological father is not in her life. She is aware of who he is. We seem to have a pretty normal lifestyle, dysfunctional, but functional at the same time. My concern as a mother is that I was 15 years old when I had my daughter, and now my daughter likes this boy who is 16. He does believe in God, yet he is not active in any church. My daughter has had multiple lessons on purity with her youth group at church, and she's had a purity ceremony not long ago. My husband and I have spoken to the young man's parents, and the young man seems to understand what boundaries and expectations we have on
How
their
old is the daughter?
friendship. 15.
Okay.
On the other hand, my daughter seems not to want to understand these boundaries and expectations, and she disobeys me when I tell her she can't be on the phone late at night. She erases her text messages. She even lied to me one day that she was dismissed from school early, decided to go to the park and hang out with him the remainder of the day. I caught her kissing with this young man. I am just going crazy at this point. Please give me your advice.
You may not like my advice. A lot of people don't like my advice in this area. I think for you to allow your daughter to be in a consistent romantic relationship with a boy at 15 is stupid, and that's on you. I think you're a moron for allowing that. I would never allow that. What do you think happens when one kid is with another kid constantly for a year or two at a time? What do you think happens? I mean, it's like these people. Young lady.
I would agree. My first boyfriend was 17. And that was too young.
Yeah.
But still.
But you're a married woman, okay? Mm-hmm. Would you allow yourself to be alone in a room with another man who's not your husband for long
Never.
periods of time? Why not? Why not?
You don't put yourself in that position.
Why not? See, you're an adult and you know better than this.
Right.
Would you? Just
No.
some guy you don't know,
No.
or you do know it all just by
No.
yourself, hour and hour.
No.
And even if I asked this mother, I would ask her, would
Would
you
she
allow
put
yourself
herself-
to be in a room and she, oh, no, of course I wouldn't. Why not? Well, something inappropriate. And you're talking a grown woman who knows who she is. She knows her values and stuff. She wouldn't even do it. But these stupid parents put their kids in that very situation, and they're shocked later. Well, I don't know what happened. This one lady. Oh, my son had sex. I was so upset. I didn't know. Really, what happened? Well, they'd sit downstairs for hours at a time, watching movies
What do you
all by
think is gonna
themselves.
happen?
And, we'd always knock before we entered.
Nuh-uh.
Knock before you enter. What moron does that? Knock. I ain't knocking. First of all, we never allowed our kids to be alone by themselves with someone of the opposite sex. So I don't know what you're thinking. You know, it's like, how can I have my kid drink, a quart of whiskey every day and not get drunk? Pastor, she's getting drunk. And how can we make it so she's not
die?
And not die, really. But a quart? A quart. How do we do it so that she doesn't get drunk? Because she's getting drunk and she drinks a lot of whiskey and listen, you got to be careful about, how much whiskey you drink. Well, you'd say, well, quit giving her whiskey for heaven's sakes. But it's like they have no connection. My kid drinks whiskey and they're drunk, but they don't get the whiskey. They're upset because they're drunk. Do the math for heaven's sakes. My 15-year-old daughter, I promise you, dear, you keep letting her spend time with that boy, she's going to be screwing the boy. I guarantee you. I don't care if he believes in God or believes in dancing monkeys on the far side of the moon. What's that got to do with anything? You could take the most devout kids in the world who love Jesus more than anything, put them all by themselves, hour after hour, unsupervised. They're going to get naked. Think it through, honestly. All right, take a break. Take my medication. We'll be back right after this.
Caution, The Mark Gungor Show contains adult content intended for an adult audience.
The Son of God came walking one night out on the water. What a frightening sight. Folks in the boat thought he was a ghost when Peter said to Jesus, "Can I
get out the boat?" We're back on the Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships. Just got an email from a parent who's trying to figure out how to make things work out with her 15-year-old daughter spending all this time with this boy. We meet with the boy and tell him what we expect with him and everything. Good night. I honestly, I don't think people think.
Well, okay.
Here's what you do. I'll let you jump in just like, your kid should be involved. She should be so involved she doesn't have time for dating. Get her involved in music. Get her involved in dance. Get her involved in
Sports.
Karate, sports, something. Good night. Our kids, we try to keep them as occupied as we could. Because, their hormones are raging. You can't do anything about it. If they fall in love, what are they going to do about it? They can't get married. Well, I guess they could if you're going to sign up on your 15-year-old getting married. And she should know better. What were you doing when you were 15?
That's why she's
Obviously,
so concerned.
You were banging bottoms with some other guy and had a baby out of... For heaven's sakes.
That's why she's so concerned.
But I don't understand.
But her daughter is the sneaky one. That's why. Okay, so here's my question. So she forbids this and takes your advice. No, you can't see him. Clearly, her daughter is sneaking out after school. She's sneaking phones and everything else to try to be in contact with him. She's sneaky. So that's what she's going to want to know. Okay, so I tell her she can't date him, she can't see him, she can't talk to him. What does she know? And the girl is just sneaky and going around and end-running all of that.
Very, very sneaky.
But it just depends. I mean, I can't live her life. If it was really problematic, I send her to a different school. If these parents are like, well, she does all these things with her phone. What? You turn off the phone.
Yeah.
You take away. She didn't have the money for the phone.
Yeah.
Get her a flip phone that doesn't text. Can you even do that anymore?
I think that you still can get those little burners that are just call only
Just
with
call
a few
them.
minutes.
Get rid of that.
That's what I would do.
That you do.
Just as an emergency,
these parents,
this is all
they can't
you
think
need.
stuff. Well, she does them. She does this inappropriate. And my 13-year-old boy's on the computer all day long in his office, in his room, masturbating, looking at porn. What should I? Well, take the computer away from them. What is it with these parents? And I get, you know what? Usually it's parents who grew up so protected, they're dumb as a brick. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Usually the parents who were really rotten little kids are the smart ones. What her story is, she was obviously, being immoral,
careful.
having sex. Know what I'm saying? You want to talk about? I was that way.
Yeah?
I know what I was doing at 15 and 16. That's
Yeah.
why I watched my kids like a hawk.
Yeah.
Because I was a hellion. You would think someone who raised up like a hellion would have a clue. Say, no, we're not going to do it. No, I wouldn't stop this. No, you're not dating anybody. There is no dating. You're 14. You're 15. You're not dating.
Yeah. It should never have been allowed to start.
In the first place.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, you might have to do some real drastic things, or let her just keep dating the boy and let her have a baby, and you can have a granddaughter at, 32. That's what's going to happen. She knows what's going to happen. Yeah. It happens all the time. These parents, man, even pastors, dumb as a brick. I was at this one conference once, this pastor was talking about his family and stuff, and he showed me a picture of his daughter, teenage daughter, and I mean, she's like 50 or whatever. Gorgeous. I mean, like, holy cow. I'm talking head to toe, the bod, the whole deal. She's the full enchilada here. And I said, wow. I said, well, I'm glad you brought her to the conference. No, we were going to, but she decided to stay home with her boyfriend, and they're doing homework.
No.
I said, they're doing homework. Yeah. Every Saturday, going, for hours. They're in there, and they shut the door, and they do.
No.
And I looked at him.
No.
And I couldn't, because he was one of the pastors. I just smiled, but inside I'm thinking, man, are you an idiot? What do you think they're doing for hours on end with the door shut, just the two of them, knowing the parents won't ever come in without knocking first?
No.
These parents are just dumb as a brick. So the daughter, they wind up getting pregnant. It is what it is. It won't be the end of the world. You'll survive it. But you want your kids to do stuff right, you got to act like a parent. The problem with a lot of parents, they don't want a parent. Mm-hmm. They don't want a parent. You know what parenting is? It's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. And here's the thing. Yes. They suck the life out of you from the time they come out of the womb. And it's like, and they finally get to the place where they can change their own clothes. They can not poop their pants. They can you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the temptation, and it's huge, you'll feel it, is you just kind of, you stop breathing, you take your hands off. You go, oh, thank God. But they quit parenting too soon. Mm-hmm. Suck it up, buttercup. You got to finish out the job. Stay very vigilant. Just because they don't poop their pants anymore and they can dress themselves and da-da-da-da-da. You don't just all of a sudden just let them go do whatever they want to do and, give them their own phones and let them have their own independent lives and their own cars and you never check on them. These people, well, I trust my kid. Well, you're an idiot, honestly. I told you would like my advice. That was my advice.
She might not like it.
Maybe. Well, a lot of parents won't like it.
No, I know.
They like, oh, I trust my kid. I said, oh, yeah, okay, well, your kid gets gonorrhea, then Hey, this happens all the time.
I know.
And you know what nitwit parents are doing today? Christian parents. They want to get their daughters vaccinated with the, what do you call that?
HPV.
Mm-hmm. HPV. Why? Well, what if she gets this horrible disease? Well, I don't know. How about you teach her not to let men stick their willies in her, for heaven's sakes? Well, it's just better to get them. Because it's someone else. They know. When you actually think seriously, I need to get my 13-year-old get this, even though I'm trying to teach her Christian values, what all you're admitting is that you're clueless and that you're not going to watch your kid and they're going to do whatever and you just don't want them to get a bad disease from it. Honestly.
You're teaching your child, you're expecting them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you think? It's just bad. So anyway.
Well, it's like, I don't want you to have sex, but here, let me put you on birth control pills just in case.
What's that about?
Right.
I mean, to me, that's the same thing. That's dumb.
The number one reason you don't have sex with a girl is you might get her pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, you take that off the table.
Yeah. Well, then the next thing is this STD business, or the cervical cancer from the HPV.
Well, I got vaccinated for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just, I don't know. Some parents, they don't think. They don't think. I don't get it. Especially this lady who knows what happens when you get really close to a boy. You get naked with him. Yeah. And
she's afraid of it, but
she had her first baby when she was 15.
Things,
She doesn't want to repeat it, but she's letting her kid already seriously dating a boy and talking to the boy about, there's no way I'd be talking to some 16-year-old guy about dating my daughter, having a serious conversation about anything, because she ain't going to be dating him.
There'd be no boundaries or expectations conversation. It'd be like, no, you're not dating my daughter. Sorry, go away. Go away.
Go away. Go away, little boy. Psh.
Go away.
Let me show you my gun collection. Get out of here. Honestly. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more emails after this.
Want more of Mark? Visit markgungor.com. There you will find everything that Mark has to offer.
We're back. Talking about love, marriage, and relationships on the Mark Gungor Show. What do you got?
Okay, another sexless marriage question. She says, my husband and I have been married for just 2.5 months.
Oh, my.
But he does not want to have sex. When I asked what the issue is, he says he doesn't know. We had sex while dating, but then abstained in the last year before we got married. They dated for 3 years. After abstaining, he shocked me to say he just doesn't feel like having sex now. We've talked to our mentors, apparently our marriage mentors, but they say just take time to adjust to married life, but it's getting worse. It moved from once a week to now once every 3 weeks. She said he did mention once that before sex used to be exciting because it was wrong. So
Yes.
now he is trying to change his mindset, but I really do not know how I can help or how I should behave. I asked about porn and masturbation. She said he did do some of that when they were abstaining, but he refuses to disclose to what extent or, what's going on now. 27, she's 27, he's 31.
31 years old, he's not interested in sex. There's a lot of people like this. I've talked with my church. It's amazing how often that you hear this story.
And that young?
At all ages. What it is as long as sex is wrong, they really like it. Mm-hmm. You're talking, there's something really jacked up in their head. As soon as they put the ring on. I know a guy who recently got married. They were having sex almost every day. They know they shouldn't. The day they put the ring on her finger, she wouldn't have sex with him anymore. Had no interest. I mean, that is so jacked up, man. That is, bless you. That's just very, very odd. See, that's what happens, people, when you're doing all this weird stuff ahead of time. And so he's acting immoral with her, and, let's stop. So now his answer to immoral behavior with her is for him to look at porn and masturbate. She knows that. That's what he's doing during that year. What do you think happens? These guys these guys like this behavior. And guys who are really into porn and masturbation, they get to the point they're not interested in their actual wives. This happens all the time. That's why I tell single girls, man, you need to find out if the guy you're dating is into porn. At some point, you just got to flat out look him in the eye and ask him. And make sure it's true.
Well, in like this case, he was probably thinking, well, doing that is better than fornicating with her. So that seemed like a viable alternative.
Yeah. And her friends are giving him bad advice. That's not their problem. They don't need to adjust to marriage. It's absurd. Mm-hmm. Their problem is he's still into porn, undoubtedly. And there's something wrong with him. There's something wrong in his head. This is a guy who, if he had to go commit adultery with somebody, probably get really all excited about it.
Well, and he's probably in danger of doing that because it would seem very exciting to him.
I think it's sad. I think you're in a bad place.
So what do you recommend? They have to go to counseling? What?
Gosh, what would you recommend? I don't know. There's some things that are just so bizarre, I can't even get my head around them. If I were her, I can only tell you what I would do, okay? Mm-hmm. I'd move out. People argue. I'm not going to argue with you. I'll just tell you, I would move out. There's no way I'm staying in a sexless marriage. I'm not going to be in a marriage where a wife will, once a month or whatever, be interested in sex and push me away the rest of the time. No, we're not going to play this game. You don't want to be a wife to me? I'm out of here. Well, I don't believe in divorce. I didn't say get divorced. I just said move out. At some point, they need to have a reality check. I think it's confrontation. Again, I want to write this book about the power of confrontation. The Bible teaches confrontation. Jesus told us somebody acts badly, 1, 2, 3 strikes, he's out. Paul said you don't have anything to do with them. The Bible is very clear about confrontation, bad behavior, confrontation. Where the church fails is when it gets to marriages, they no longer take the advice of the Bible. They think the truth of the Bible is good, but it doesn't apply to marriage, which is absurd. The same rules towards bad behavior and inappropriate behavior and all the other stuff. If your pastor was acting in a bad way, I bet you your board would put him on his butt real quick, kick him out if they had to. Why? Because, the Bible says you got to confront behavior. Yeah. But how come when a wife or a husband does it, the church says, just everybody be patient and pray? A bunch of nonsense. You confront it. Confront it like in any other situation. I would, if I were you, I would tell him I'm moving out. And when he gets all upset, why? I said, because you don't want to be a husband to me. Well, just call him on it. And if he's having problems and he's looking and ask him, you still looking at porn? You should be wanting to make love to me. Why aren't you? Well, I don't find it interesting anymore. Well, there's something wrong with you. All right? I would just confront it. There's no way I would tolerate it. 2 months into this, man, I'd go to your judge, see if I even qualify an annulment at some point. This soon into it, and this guy doesn't want to be a husband to you, and he's doing all this. Oh, man.
Do you know what the technical breakdown is? It's like you never had sex. Is that what it qualifies?
It's actually pretty hard. It depends on the state. Bottom line is someone gets married and they're not mentally, you find out they weren't mentally all together. That would be the argument I would make with her.
Oh. But that has to be proven medically by a doctor
Well, I
that
don't
signs
know.
off.
I'd still make the argument. I'd make his life miserable. There's no way. I'm telling you, I would go down swinging as hard as I could to force a resolution. You can listen to your goofy friends. I'm sure they're sweet friends, but say, you just need to adapt more. What a bunch of nonsense.
Get adjusted to marriage.
And these pastors, I've heard them. Guy, 10 years with no sex from his wife. Well, you just need to pray and trust God. Oh, man. You just got to hang in there. No, you don't. If you had a pastor who was acting inappropriate, not doing his job, you'd throw him out of the church. Well, the wife's supposed to submit to her husband. The Bible says the church is supposed to submit to their pastor. You don't have a problem dealing with them. Well, because you have to... see, they all understand confronting bad stuff outside the home. What the church cannot, for the love of heaven, get through their thick skulls is the same rules for bad behavior that Jesus talked about. You saw in people, you see in individuals, the church sees in a pastor. Those same rules apply in the home. It's called confrontation. You call them out. That's what you need to do. All right, take a break. We'll be back with our final segment right after this.
Attend Mark's Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage event. Visit laughyourway.com for upcoming dates and locations.
I require no invitation for quiet walks and rendezvous.
We're back on the Mark Gungor Show, talking about love, marriage, and relationships. Me going psycho on some lady. Phil disagrees with me, so let's hear what Phil has to say.
Disagree with you. I just think you get, well, as we all know, you get so angry that you skip all the steps and you just jump to the end because you're convinced.
Go straight to the nuclear option all the time.
No, I think, yes, you would go to counseling, find out if indeed he doesn't want to work on it. He might have no idea why. He might literally have no idea why he doesn't feel that way. It could be porn. It could be he was so tense before and it was so exciting before that he leaves. That could mess with his hormones. It could be a hormone thing. Just see if he's willing to work on it before you just jump to annulment.
Jump to it.
Louise.
All right.
You start there, but then in your head you keep going on until you're like, just leave him! Annulment!
Jump to the extreme.
Drag him through the mud!
2 months into marriage, as soon as you get married to someone, you find like they've defrauded you, that's an annulment, in my opinion. So that's me. I know what everybody says.
Defraud. But people aren't going to understand you. What if
Nobody understands me.
What if you go into the marriage and you think, I thought my wife was going to have sex with me every single day?
Well, that's not what you're saying.
She's defrauded me.
That's not what. No, that's not what we're saying. He wanted to make love. What did she say? As soon as they got married, he wasn't interested anymore.
Well, he said that, but they were having it once or twice a week, and now it's down to once every 3 weeks. So he's still doing it.
Well, he can do it. That's why she needs to confront him.
Yeah.
When I say leave, I'm literally talking you go out of the house for 48 hours.
But you started there. And you ended with explaining why she should get an annulment. That's what's like, well, hold on.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't think you probably qualify for an annulment. Here's my problem. There are so many people. You find out that from the get-go, something was seriously wrong in the relationship. And now they wind up 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 years in hell, marriage, and they end up in divorce anyway. Some of these situations, when you find someone that, there are fundamental reasons for annulments. One is a marriage is never consummated. The second is some kind of defraud. The guy's already married or there's something mentally wrong with him. My argument is that at some level, someone has been defrauded. Like the lady. And the reason I get angry is I think about all these people. In my mind, she gets married. She tells me she admits, the minute we got married, I didn't want to have sex with him anymore. I don't know why. Well, there's something wrong with her. That you get an annulment. You don't try and fix something like that. It's absurd.
Okay.
I agree with that. I just think you have to go to counseling or some kind of agree in the confrontation that he needs to say it. If he just says that, like, you know what, I'm not going to go to talk to anyone, and this is just how I feel, and deal with it.
I bet that's what he'll say.
I agree.
Well, then you have to deal with it. But here's the other thing. Even in this case, you're discounting the fact that there's an actual relationship here. So to say, just go and get annulled, or there's other emotional entanglements and everything. So how do you know what I mean? Just sever that and say, I'm done. That would be a very difficult thing to do.
They all have emotional connections. I had a lady in my office soon after I got married. From the get-go, he never one time ever had sex with her. But because of her emotional connections, I've talked to people like this. More than one, but several.
Yeah.
Okay, because of emotional connections.
That's what makes it not so black and white.
And then they want to, okay, our emotional connections, I said I loved her. I think they're crazy. Because at some point, here's what ticks me off. At some point, everybody goes along with this nonsense. At some point, I look down the road. Mm-hmm. At some point, they all end up in divorce anyway. Mm-hmm. Why? Because nobody is designed to function that way. They have no sex as an adult man. Is it because your wife just, on your wedding day, decided she didn't want to have sex? Mm-hmm. Your wife, now these are the women who end up having sex with some other guy committing adultery because somebody starts paying attention and touches her and is nice to her. Her husband never touches her. Well, in the beginning, everybody's all these emotional connections and stuff like that. I don't know. I get ticked. I've seen so many people personally that I know that have been in situations like this.
So those situations,
and there's not a one. I will say this: I could be wrong. I've been wrong once before in my life, and obviously, I know nobody likes this. I get it. Even you guys around the table don't like it. I just know what happens. It never gets fixed. It doesn't get fixed. I haven't seen it yet. Now, maybe something, we had that problem. We went to counselor.
We've gotten a couple of emails that people have said that they've, worked through it or whatever, and that it did turn out good in the end.
You did?
Yeah, we have gotten those because they
I haven't gotten those.
We're clearly just the optimists on this side. Now, I agree with you. If it gets to that point and he's not going to do anything, he's just going to refuse to sleep with her, okay, that's a serious problem there.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. If that's not, then fine.
Well, she's just saying it's starting to trend that way.
Her friends tell her, well, you guys just need to adapt to married life. Really?
That's crazy.
I don't
You know
think
what's adapting to
that's
married
right.
life? You get married and you can't keep your hands off each other for about 3 years. That's adapting to married life. When you from the get-go don't even want to be together, one of them doesn't want to touch the other one, and that's really jacked up. Okay, go to counseling. Look, it's not my life.
So, like these situations that because you know several of them, do you think that had someone said to all of these people in the beginning, no, don't do this. This is an annulment. Do you think they would have taken that option had that been presented to them?
I think that's what I write about it in my book, Being Found. I tell these young people, if anybody who gets married, you find out that on your wedding night, your spouse does not want to be sexual with you. On your honeymoon, they don't want it to... You get an annulment. You go to your pastor, you get an annulment.
Yeah, but these ones could they have done that?
I don't know.
That would
one of them wouldn't. And to this day, she's never had sex with him. Been married to him for 10 years, 15 years. If that's what you want, look, it's a free country. But I can't fix it. There's no fixing it.
No.
My point is there's no fixing it. When you start from that premise, it's so jacked up. You try to get an annulment and just do a do-over. And if you got someone who's never had sex with you, that's an absolutely... an annulment.
No,
Legally.
the person can fix it. The guy or the girl that's not doing it, they can fix it. So it's like if they're willing to, if they would agree, you know what, what I'm doing is not right. What do I need to do to fix it? Then I would say, then work on it. If they choose to not.
But they can't. I know I'm the pessimist here. They don't fix it. They don't fix it. They can't fix it. They're so jacked up. Something's real. When you are married, young like this, in this case, and you just have no interest physically, what are you gonna do to fix it? Sprinkle pixie dust on their head?
No, you don't do anything to fix it. That person can make the decision to fix it. And yes, I absolutely believe that if someone chooses to change what they're doing and start doing the right things, it will fix them.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, see ya!
Bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle.